I'm going to take you back in my journey to broadcasting. I early on figured out that I do want to do broadcasting. Television is more the goal at this point. Radio kind of comes to me a little bit later, but I'm really early into this thing. No college degree at all. I do not have one. Will never get one because I don't need it. But no broadcasting experience at all, but really felt like, hey, I want to go this direction. I really feel like I've got the talent to do this. I've done some live event hosting, been on stages and spoke my whole life. So I've got this communication skill and a desire to do broadcasting. And it's really early on. You know, I'm probably 2 years into the idea of it, trying to make some connections. I got nothing going. And my wife's cousin, if I said his name, many of you folks would know who he is. He's a well-known NBC reporter and has his own production company. And so reach out to him and tell him what I'm wanting to do. Does he have any connections, any relationships? I've got to get people start looking at me. I'll do anything. And he says to me, well, do you have a demo? And of course I didn't have a demo. I never done anything. He's like, well, that's the first thing. You need to get a demo. You need to do some actual, show people that you can actually do stuff on camera. He goes, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me connect you with a guy who I know who works with a national. Well, I'll just say it. This story is tremendously humiliating for me, but it's so good and you all need to hear it. So he basically says, I got a buddy who does a NASCAR show on Turner Sports. Well, Madison's shaking her head. She's got a bunch of Georgia roots. Joe and I lived in the Atlanta area for a long time. Well, Turner Sports is headquartered in right downtown Atlanta. So it's about 25 minutes from my house. So I go, oh, this is great. And he said, let me connect with this guy. Let's see if he can get you in there sometime. And, you do some demo work, maybe do some highlights, and then you can take that footage and you could put it in your reel. See if we can get something going for you. So he makes the connection, and the guy says to me, yeah, why don't you come on down? He's like, have you ever done highlights before? And I'm like, no, but, I just started playing this confident card. Oh, yeah, no, but shouldn't be a problem. Really grateful. I got this. And I'm playing the confidence card big time because this guy's an insider. All right? And I'm also thinking, Joe and Madison, that I'm going to impress this guy and I'm going to impress everybody on the crew. And this is going to be a real in for me. I mean, I just knew this is great. Now, so I hang up the phone with this guy. Do I go online and do any research? Do I record the highlights from my sports shows that I watch? And do I watch how they do it? Do I study? Do I do any preparation at all? Any practice at all? The answer is no.
What?
I show up. And I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I was expecting. But folks, I show up and I'm there and I watch them do the show. It was about a 10-minute show on one of their online properties at the time. I'm watching this guy do the highlights, and they let me in, and the producers let me in. I'm standing in the back watching this, and they wrap. And this host comes out and goes, hey, guys, listen, I want you to meet Ken. He introduces me to the whole crew. These people are ready to go home. They're done with the show. He says, hey, he's going to jump in here, and he's going to do that last highlight package that I did. Okay. So I get up behind the desk, and I got two people fotzing all around me and putting, things in my ear and getting a mic on me and all this stuff. And now all of a sudden my pulse is out of control. I go from I don't know what I'm doing here to what in the world am I doing here? So they get me all mic'd up. He hands me these stack of papers that have his highlights on it. And he goes, okay, you want to review this real quick? He goes, let's roll through these. And he goes, here's my script on what I said. You can do whatever you want with it. But let's roll through these, guys, and let's let him hear it. And he goes, Ken, you saw what I just did. And so we're going to roll through these, let you watch it, and then we'll roll tape. Okay, great. So now I'm getting really nervous, Joe. I've got no saliva in my mouth because I realize this guy's not going to walk me through it and train me. He's just throwing me in there And I'm now about to be exposed as the fraud that I am. So he rolls through the clip. It's about a 2.5 minute package. Now,
Which
folks,
seems like forever.
A lot of you watching right now are going, 2.5 minutes? Man, that's fast. No, you don't understand. 2.5 minutes in broadcasting land is like a Tolstoy novel. It's a long time, especially when you suck. Let me also remind you, before I tell you what happened, how quickly highlights go. And if you get behind in a highlight, guess what? The video doesn't stop. It just is like one car piling onto the next car and the next car and the next car. And before you know it, it is digital and entertainment carnage. So I went through it. I practiced it. It was really rough. I'm trying to play it off. Like, oh, yeah, I got it. Folks, I am so nervous. My lips would not open. They were stuck together. There was no saliva anywhere in my body. It was as though I had been in the Sahara Desert for weeks on end. He goes, all right, you ready? Before I know it, he's going 5, 4, 3, 2. He's counting it down. And I am like, and so boom, we're off and running. Folks, I was behind from the minute the clip started. I never caught up. I was a train wreck. I was lost. There were times where I didn't say anything. And I was molten lava. I was so embarrassed. I get done and the guy goes, okay, comes up. And we go through this 3 more times. Each time as bad as the last. No improvement at all. Why? Because I hadn't practiced. I was faking it. And there's this whole school of thought, fake it till you make it. No. Because you try to fake it in the wrong place, guess what? You'll never make it. You're done. Well, thankfully, he put me out of my misery. The crew was ready to go. I was ready to go. I was so humiliated. I had played this part up like I could do this. I wasted the crew's time. I wasted the guy's time. I wasted a recommendation from my wife's cousin. It was awful. It was the single worst audition for a sportscaster that I think exists on the planet. I was dreadful. So out of my league. Why do I tell you this story? Because in my book, The Proximity Principle, because of experiences like I just shared with you, you've got to find a place to practice. It's one of the 5 places that I tell you you've got to get in order for proximity to really take off. And here's what I should have done. What I should have done was practice highlights by taping them myself or asking a friend to just videotape me doing highlights, and do it that way. I could have done that easily on an iPhone or a camera. I could have done a lot of things. The fact of the matter is I put myself in a position that I didn't belong in. And I was an imposter and I was a fraud. Folks, it took me a long time to get over that. A long time. To this day, when I tell the story, Joe, I have anxiety. Like I have anxiety telling you all. When I relive what that was like for me, it's a miracle that I'm even here. Because it haunted me. All because I didn't practice. A place to practice is the low risk opportunity to get better. What I put myself in front of a bunch of pros, never having done highlights before, that's torture. That's not practice. I tortured myself. So one of the 5 places in the book, again, the proximity principle, is the place to practice. Low risk, and I can just get in and get better without causing all kinds of problems. There's 4 things. Nathan's going to put them on the screen. There's 4 things that the power of practice gives you. When you practice, low pressure, nobody's going to hire you on this. We're just practicing. 4 things. Number 1, real experience. Part of the problem with that story is I showed up that day, Nathan, and I'd never done any highlights. Never once. I had no experience. So I didn't even know what to expect. What I learned quickly is how fast those reels go. You got to know what you're going to say. You got to watch that clip ahead of time. And if that car's coming around the curve and spins out, you got to know that car's coming around the turn and spins out. And you got to have something to say. You also got to know that it goes to another clip. You got to be prepared. I had never done any of it. No experience. Second thing it does for you, gives you feedback. Oh my gosh. Practice gives you feedback. Hey, you got to be ready for this. Here are the 3 things you got to do a successful highlight package. You need the feedback. Number 3, freedom to fail. Folks, the failing in front of those folks, no freedom. I didn't have any freedom. I was trying to get a decent reel and use it. Turns out I couldn't use any of it. It was abysmal. And number 4, wins. The more I practice in private and I see myself improve, the power of practice gives me wins where I can see progress. Oh, okay, I'm getting better at this. And I can fail. That freedom to fail gives me the opportunity to win, but only when I'm practicing. I'm not ready to perform yet. I got to practice so that when I get the chance to step up and step in, I know what it takes to actually win because I've practiced. So, again, to this day, I look back on that, and I feel like I owe that guy an apology right now. I feel like after the show, I should call the guy and apologize one more time. This was so bad. But what an incredible lesson it taught me. Don't try to perform too soon. Don't buy the lie that you can just make it happen. No, you got to practice. It is a skill, whatever it is that you're going after. It's a skill that must be acquired. That experience is everything. And we too many times make the mistake that I made by trying to perform too quickly, and we set ourselves back emotionally and professionally. Hello. Am I preaching to the choir to some of you? You've humiliated yourself, and as a result, you don't want to come out of the cave. Well, the good news is all those folks forgot about me. I'm sure some of them still laugh about this story and tell it. But the fact of the matter is, it was good for me, and here I am. But I'm trying to protect you from that humiliation. Practice, again, 4 things. Gives you real experience, feedback, freedom to fail, and wins.